Craig. I just got in the car and I am headed to work. And, I'm watching all this coverage of the Democrat convention. Just backing out of the driveway, guys. Watch all this coverage of the Democrat convention. And, there's so many different factions at the Democrat convention, and the Democrat convention, it's kind of like the United Nations, okay? It's the United Nations is a collection of countries. Most of them hate each other. Most of them are insignificant in the world, and that if they, so what they've done is the reject countries of the world have come together at the United Nations, and they feel like there's something, but that's how the Democrat Party is. It's a loose collection of special interest groups that don't care for each other at all. They really hate each other, and they come together with this coalition in the Democrat Party like there's something, and they're important, and they're not. And you see the disunity that they have, and this is quite common. It's not this way at every Democrat convention, but there's been some high-profile ones where there's a lot of divisions and everything. So I thought I would talk about the different kind of Democrats, what the Democrat Party is about, what the DNC convention is about, and what's all this garbage you've been watching last night and throughout this week. And the reality of the situation, if you want to sum up the Democrat Party, there's two different types of Democrats, okay? You've got your Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Charles Schumer Democrats, and then you've got Kamala Harris, I'll put in Tim Walz, and these lunatic activists, the Islamic activists, and all of this stuff. And there are two different kinds of groups. The Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Charles Schumer Democrats, they don't give a shit about anything other than enriching themselves and their families. That's all they care about. They don't care about the border. They don't care about unions. They don't care about taxes. They don't care about climate change. They don't care about a woman's right to choose. They don't care about any of that. They're just in government to get rich. They're con men. They're high-level grifters, and it's organized crime, really. It's an organized criminal organization. Now, it's mostly legal. Joe Biden, which I'll talk about him maybe a little bit later, because he's a specific case with some unique things, which I will definitely talk about. But it's mostly legal, not all of it, but it's mostly legal because Congress makes the laws, and Congress makes a lot of laws, and they have forever, so that they could break the law, right? They've legalized their criminal operation, insider trading, taking bribes through donors, and all of that, okay? Like Nikki Haley is a Republican, but she's part of that same type of person. But that's what the Democrats are, those wings of the Democrats are. The rest of them, Tim Walz, these Muslim terrorist supporters, which are just disgusting, all these gender-neutral people and all this crap, the BLM types, radical blacks, they just hate the country, okay? They hate America. You've got a bunch of people that are in different liberal victim groups. And I'm not saying that these groups are victims, but they believe they're victims. Blacks, some Native American Indians, gays, trans people, gay people, the abortion people, they're pissed off. They're pissed off. They're pissed off for a number of reasons. A lot of them are they got a lot of issues from high school, right? They couldn't get dates in high school, couldn't get girlfriends, couldn't get boyfriends. They went goth, that didn't work. They went to college, they still couldn't find anyone, you know. And they're rejects. And what they have found is acceptance in these weirdo things, a lot of them. A lot of them are the hate America first crowd. They hate this country. They think this country is so bad. It's so evil. It's caused all these things. You know, on my podcast last night, I had a soundbite of Kamala Harris that I'm going to play on the radio today. And she's part of this hate America first crowd, by the way, with some special additions I have to add on to her. Yeah, I mean, this is the way it is. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new, and if you're already subbed to the channel, please like the video. All right, it helps grow the community. This hate America first crowd, like this soundbite I'm going to play later on the radio of Kamala, which I played on my podcast. There's an interview of her from 4 or 5 years ago when she was running for president last time. And she talked about how the United States is on stolen Indian land, which is a bunch of BS, okay? This group of people that Kamala Harris is a part of, but she's also part of the profiteering people, they think America is the reason that everything is wrong in the world. There's a lot of mental illness there, a lot of dealing with their rough high school years where they were the outcast and all of this stuff. But that's, you know, they think America is the root cause of all evil, which is the most insane, stupid thing I've ever heard. And that's basically what this is at the Democrat convention. It's a gathering of people that hate each other. They come together and try to nominate someone to become president. That's basically what the Democrat Party is. Now, I'll talk about some of the specific people. Joe Biden in particular. Now, a lot of the Democrats fit into that Joe Biden character. He's in politics for one reason only, and that's to enrich himself and his family. And he's done it at a level that the other ones haven't done. I mean, he's one of the most corrupt people ever in the history of the Congress. He's one of the most corrupt people in the history of Washington, D.C. He's taken it to a whole new level, this new thing that came out yesterday about his family taking over $20 million. What happened with Joe, I've talked about this a lot, and I came to this realization by getting Miranda Devine's book, Laptop from Hell, a couple years ago, which I highly recommend. The audiobook, you got to get the audiobook version. It's very good, very dramatic, and reveals what Biden's all about. I mean, he's been corrupt from day one. There has not been a moment that Joe Biden has been in public life that he has not been corrupt. He went into politics to be corrupt, okay? He's a mobster. He's a gangster. He's a mafia type. And the reason he's put things in overdrive is he's got a large family, not just his kids and, you know, and their families, but his brother and his sister, they've got families and everything else. And they're obviously a family that's got a lot of vices. Sex, hookers, porn, cocaine, and all of this. They're just a very corrupt, hedonistic family, the Biden family, at all levels. They're just all scumbuckets. I mean, look at his daughter last night. She couldn't even hardly stand up and talk straight. Ashley Biden, she looked like she was stoned out of her freaking mind up there, like she did a couple bumps to get the edge off before she went up there. And did you notice Kamala gave her the evil eye? Kamala hates Ashley Biden. What's that all about? But anyway, Joe Biden, he's always been corrupt, but not at the level he has been in the last few years. And what had happened with Joe, his son Beau Biden that passed away was supposed to take over the family business of corruption. The rest of his family are a bunch of perverted sex maniacs and drug addicts who spend they're in and out of rehab all the time, and they can't hold elected office. But Beau was going to take over the reins, probably be the senator from Delaware, and spend a life in Washington keeping the family crime business going and support the degenerates of the Biden family. Then Beau sadly passed away, and Joe Biden had to come out of retirement. And since this is his last rodeo, which was cut short because he thought he'd have 8 years, he's been doing more corrupt deals than anybody in the history of Washington, because he knows that once he's out of office, the corruption, the deals stop, and his family, they burn through money real quick. He's got to make as much as he can to take care of his family. And as twisted as Joe Biden is, he actually believes that he's the father of the year. He thinks he is the role model of a father and a husband. That's how criminally insane he is. That's it. I mean, he's just the monster of a person. Nancy Pelosi is one of these people that's inherited the thing. Her parents were in politics. On the East Coast, she's one of these political dynasties. She thinks she's a lord and a lady of the manor and nobility and all of that. But all of the Bidens, the Clintons, the Pelosis, the Schumers, those type of Democrats, they're all just professional criminals in it to steal money. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I don't even think you guys, even if you're a Democrat, would disagree with that. Do you think Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden give a darn about anything? Climate change, abortion, a woman's right to choose, Ukraine? Hell no. They don't care about anything. They're just greedy money people. Now, there's some others, like, I'll just talk about Tim Walz briefly. I got a news story on Tim Walz. Tim Walz is a Chinese asset. At some point in his life, not exactly sure when, he was recruited by the CCP. And the CCP, like the Soviet Union, they recruit a lot of people that are sometimes in the military. Sometimes they do it with money. Sometimes they do it with sex. And sometimes they find useful idiots like Tim Walz, and he's a true believing communist. And he is most definitely an asset for the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I got a news story on him that I'm going to talk about on my next stream on the radio at 6 a.m. Eastern here, so you guys can get that. It's just an addition to the mini stories. So he's a true believer in the communist ideology of China. Kamala Harris, there's some dual things going on with Kamala. Kamala is, without a doubt, a Marxist. Both of her parents were Marxists, not just her father. Her mother was a Marxist too. Marxists don't marry non-Marxists, and she was a left-wing college professor. And her Marxist mother, when she divorced her Marxist father, took Kamala Harris to Canada, a socialist country, and raised her as a Marxist. What's different about Kamala is she married this Doug Mhof, which is a marriage of convenience. His company is in partnership with the CCP. So Kamala's husband, he's not a true believing communist like Tim Walz. He's one of the many in Washington circles that have been bought off. And it makes sense he's from California. The CCP is very active in California because, it's not just that it's the West Coast, mainland United States, closest to China in many respects. Well, I guess Alaska might be closer, I'm not sure. But, California, so there's a large Asian population in California, and the Chinese can operate more openly and blend in China and California because there's such a large Asian population in California, and that's why they're out there. But Doug Mhof, he's an asset of China, but unlike Waltz, who's a true believing commie, Doug Mhof, he's in it for the money. So this money man, Doug Mhof, who's in bed with the CCP, has married this Marxist Kamala Harris So you got kind of a blending of things. Then we have these Hamas people. By the way, if you're new to my channel, subscribe. Then we have these Hamas people that are wearing those Arafat scarves at the convention that are protesting and causing all these problems. They hate Jews. They hate Israel. This is the Obama movement. Some of you might find this surprising. I don't subscribe to this idea that Obama was not born in Hawaii. I believe he was. There's a newspaper clipping that announcing his birth at the time and that. But his mother, Obama's left-wing lunatic mother, took him from Hawaii to Indonesia. Okay? Rebelling against her parents, a girl from Kansas. Took Obama to Indonesia. She married Lolo Soetoro, that's Obama's stepfather. And when Obama started school, he started kindergarten in Indonesia. And when he was president, this came out, although it was suppressed, the registration form that his mother filled out in Indonesia became public. Indonesia is the country with the largest Muslim population in the world. And they asked on the school registration form his religion, and his mother wrote Islam. Lolo Soetoro and Obama's mother, communist. She had a Muslim fetish. She was married to 2 Muslim men, this white girl from Kansas. And he was raised by his mother and his stepfather in Indonesia as a Muslim. And then at some point, I guess when he was around 11 or so, Obama's mother brought him to Hawaii, dropped him off with the grandparents, went back to Indonesia with Lolo Soetoro, where she had another child, Obama's sister. And although he lived with his grandparents, this is when he was indoctrinated by Frank Marshall Davis in Hawaii. Frank Marshall Davis, a leftist, radical 1960s anarchist. And what a lot of people don't know about Frank Marshall Davis, who really made Obama into the man he is today, Frank Marshall Davis was part of a cell in Chicago that included the parents of Valerie Jarrett, the parents of Bill Ayers, and Hillary Clinton's parents. It's true. You can research all that I'm sharing with you. This is not news. It's just something that, because the Clintons and the Obamas seem like they're out of the scene. They're not. So, Obama, who is a radical Islamic anarchist, spent a very big part of his presidency bringing an unknown number of Muslims into the United States. How many? We really don't know. We were a little distracted from it because the southern border's always been a problem. Not like it is now, but always been a problem. But if you remember, that's why when Trump came into his first term, he came in with that Muslim ban, because Obama was bringing so many Muslims into the country. And look at what's happened. The Democrat Party now is like being held hostage by these Muslims that have made their way into the halls of power of the Democrat Party in this post-9/11 world that we're living in. So these are some pretty scary things. Hold on, let me see where I'm at. Hey, Minnie. Where am I? I'm having the card show me the map. Okay. Okay, good. I was talking to all you good people, and I kind of lost track of where I am on this dark, lonely highway on my way to the radio station, so I just pulled up the map here on the screen. Okay, so, I mean, that's what you have. And the Democrats have all these competing interests. You have the profiteers. We've got the CCP influence, and we've got this Muslim branch of the Democrat Party. And that's basically, these other groups like the gays and the trans, they're fringe. They're not really players. They're, useful idiots that all of these groups use for different purposes. But the main three organizations, the triumvirate of the dysfunctional DNC, the criminal profiteers, the Bidens, the Pelosi types, the CCP assets, and Marxist, Kamala, Tim Walz, and then you got the Muslim anarchists that are trying to Islamify, this country as much as possible, the Obama wing, and that's what you got. And what they two of the three want to do is destroy America. The profiteers don't really want to destroy America because they and their families make much money off of it, and they live in it. But the other two groups want to destroy the country and bring it down. They want China to be number one. They want the Islamic world to be number one. They want to bring America down. They view America as being in the way, and that's what it is. I mean, that's the Democrat Party. I don't see how anyone could really disagree. I know it can get more complex. That's just a brief overview of what it is, but that's the Democrat Party in Chicago in 2024, and it's really sad and disgusting. When I was growing up, I used to hear Republicans oftentimes refer to the Democrat Party as the Hate America First crowd, and when I was young and I didn't have a real understanding of things, I thought that's impossible. How can they hate America? They're in America just like us. But they do. It's hard to imagine, but they are. The Hate America First crowd does exist. It's alive and well, and it's growing inside the Democrat Party. And, one thing I want to talk about today on the radio, I'm going to talk about this and take calls on it, because I do want to take calls on it. And you're welcome to call me on the next stream, which will be in an hour. That stream's already set up, and the call-in number's there in the chat if you don't know the number for the next stream when I'm on the radio. But that's what you got in the Democrat Party. That's exactly what you got. So I'm going to talk about that and a lot of other things, because there's a bigger picture going on. But CNN has been reporting and interviewing a lot of people that were anti-Trump that are voting for Trump, and I shared some of this on my podcast last night, and I was trying to figure out what this was all about, and then I kind of figured it out, what CNN is doing. CNN, I think, do most of you agree that CNN is the CIA? Do you guys agree with that? By the way, I'm just at a stoplight. First light all the way, so good. CNN is the CIA. They're the deep state, okay? It's a CIA agency. CIA network, no doubt about it. And everything that CNN does, that doesn't mean every little story, but as an overview, as a broad mission, CNN is on a mission to promote whatever the deep state wants. And all of this anti-Democrat coverage, anti-Kamala coverage, and what really by CNN standards is pro-Trump coverage, as crazy as that sounds, it's the deep state trying to get control back from the Obama Muslims and the CCP that have made their way into leadership positions in the Democrat Party. Okay. By the way, if you notice, I didn't mention AOC. AOC is just a useful idiot and just a stupid person. So I didn't include her in the people I talked about. But the deep state is using CNN to really help Trump win this election. And I know that seems crazy to you all, But CNN, which is the deep state, want Donald Trump to win. And what CNN is doing, what the deep state is doing, is these different groups I talked about, the Islamic Democrats, the communist Democrats. They played a role that helped the Democrats, but they've taken control of the party. Okay? They've taken control of the party. And the deep state wants to lose the presidency to purge from party leadership as many of these radicals as they can and bring back people that they control that are, deep state American Democrat people. I know it seems very complex, and I know those of you that are new to me probably think all this sounds nuts, and who's this crazy guy, and what the hell are you talking about? But that's the way it is, guys. And there's no getting around it. Very complex stuff. Who would have thought that the deep state would want Donald Trump to win? But I believe they do. You can agree or disagree with that. I'm certainly welcome to hear your comments. When I stop for more than a second, I will look through the chat. But if you're not watching live, you can share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll get into this a little deeper on the radio, and take your calls as well, because I think people will agree with this. I've been following politics professionally, as a broadcaster since Clinton, since '92, since the Clinton race. I mean, I've followed it all my life, but I've been on the air since '92, dealing and talking about these things. And when you get older and you go through all these elections, you get a lot of perspective, and with age comes wisdom, and you start to see what's going on. There's a big picture here, and most people don't get it. Even in our great MAGA movement, we have so many people that are new to the world of politics, and by the new to the world of politics, I'm talking about the last 9 or 10 years, the Trump era, and they don't have enough perspective to put all the pieces of the puzzle together that's going on. Now, all that being said, I'm not watching this Democrat convention. I don't have an interest in what any of these jerk-offs and a-holes have to say. I just have no interest. That doesn't mean I might not play a clip or two or listen to a clip or something I see on my X feed, but no interest in watching this. Do you? Who cares what they have to say? It's all a bunch of nonsense. It's just noise. I mean, we have to expose them. I mean, people need, we need to wake people up to what is going on here. A bit of a construction zone here. I'm heading to get some coffee. I've been up for a long time today. I was talking the other day on one of my live streams. I got some stuff going on in my life that are, so I've been up for a long time this morning. Most of the news is about the DNC, and most people that are in my line of work, what they're going to do today is analyze what's said at the DNC. It's all BS. Who cares what they say? Give me a break. The same old crap. Hate America. Hate Republicans. That's all they got. They have nothing. I mean, that guy from the union that went there and took his shirt off like he's Hulk Hogan. What an idiot. Bunch of weirdos, tell you the truth, at the Democrat convention. I don't want to miss my turn. I'm heading to Starbucks. When I get to Starbucks, I'll stop for a minute before I go in and order. I got to pay with my phone, so I'll end the stream before I order. But I'll stop and look at the chat real quick when I get to the parking lot. I cannot believe how busy the roads are. I left a little early today. I thought there would be less traffic, and there's actually more. Well, all these people on the road now, most of these people are conservatives. They're going to work. I passed one guy when I was talking to you guys. He was driving next to me in a convertible with the top down. He's probably coming home from some 5 a.m. bar that closed. So I got past him. I didn't want to be driving next to a guy coming home from a 5 a.m. bar. That's where the real drunks go. They stay at the 2 a.m. bar until it closes, and then they get in the car and drive to the 5 a.m. bar. They go from drunk to drunker, to home and passed out, if they make it. Raining a little bit. Okay, here's my turn. But I think my hypothesis there is pretty strong that I just shared with you guys about the Democrats and the DNC. All right, let me stop here in the parking lot. I'll take a quick look at the chat. Cruiserweight 100, $10 super chat, thank you. Been stressing since you said something bad was going on. Yeah, I appreciate the prayers. It's still going on. Things have gotten a little light, a little better, but still got it going on. But I do appreciate the prayers. I'm seeing a lot of a weirdo driving around calling other people weird. Yeah, I don't know what makes me weird, but if you want to call me a weirdo, you can certainly do that. Mexicans for Trump. Absolute welcome, Mexicans for Trump. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, okay? My next stream will be in 45 minutes. I'll be at the radio studio. And that chat, that stream is already set up. The thumbnail is Kamala. Kamala's a devout commie, and it's got Trump's picture in it. The chat is already set up and going. If you want to, you jump from this stream to that one. The chat's there, even though the stream hasn't started yet, and I'll start taking calls. But I'm going to go through what I went through now on this stream, and then bring up some other things, and then take calls today, because I can't sit there and play sex from this DNC convention. I just can't get myself to do it. I'm not interested in what any of them say. It's all BS. And I think my analysis of it's probably about the best analysis you can get. All right, guys, listen. I got to run. I got to get some coffee in me. And I'll see you in about 40 minutes or so. Make sure you subscribe. I'm Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in a bit.